Hey y'all, my name is Shan. Welcome to Cozy Womb Podcast. This is a series for Black fathers because Black fathers matter. Black fathers matter to me. Black fathers matter to my children. Black fathers matter when it comes to my brothers, my mentors, my friends. They matter because they set the tone for who our children look up to. They set the tone for how men, women, children, and other elderly people feel protected, feel like, everything they've struggled for was for a good cause because they've seen who they've become. And I want to, I just want to shine a light on them and hear from them in a perspective that sometimes goes unheard because no one cares to ask. Sometimes people look at fathers as if, oh, that's nothing. They're supposed to do that. Why would we, thank you for doing something you're automatically supposed to do? You shouldn't look for any, praise or any thank yous for that. That's standard. That's the basics. Do what you're supposed to do. But when you have a father that's there, that's consistent, that's available, that's attentive, that's caring, that's thoughtful, versus an absent father, versus a father that thinks his life and his now is more important than the child's future. There's a difference. There's a clear difference. And I just want to show appreciation. So this series, I've interviewed many fathers from different places, different backgrounds. And I really just want to pick their brains with different questions. So thank you for listening to Cozy Womb Podcast, and I hope you enjoy. This was so good. Boom, 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 boom. The girls were giving me quote unquote static at the beginning, so I was rushing them out the room. So me and Brandon were just having like a chat. But I think throughout the whole show, I could tell that Brandon had like his own growth throughout everything, which is really good. Like, we always want our parents to continue growing, but he grew in the right direction to be better for his son. And my hope for him is to get to like a super place of peace with his son's mom, and continue to keep pouring into his son and being vulnerable and welcoming another kiddo in the near future. But I wish him the best. I think him being available and him co-parenting in a healthy way is going to be super successful when his son grows up. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. He is my last dad that I recorded for this series. I really truly enjoyed this series. It was very refreshing. So many great dads out here. I think my daughters have nothing to worry about. That's how I would like to feel. But I think as far as like feeling like fathers are really taking a stance in their children's lives, whether it is boys or girls, I feel like we have more fathers that are taking a stance in their kids' lives than not. But the media portrays like, families don't have fathers that are involved, that are black fathers don't do X, Y, and Z. They don't care. They're not involved. And it's kind of like, no, they're actually trying. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for listening and supporting all the episodes. And drop me a line. Tell me how you like it. I am on Twitter. I am on IG, and you can always leave a voicemail on Anchor. Peace. I love you too. Get.
I love you too, Mommy.
Bye.
Bye. I want to get that.
Thanks. Bye. Come on, go. You holding me up. And close the door. Girls. If you think you want one, FedEx shits with air holes in the bottom.
No, I would be one and done, but the my lady now, I think she gonna want one sometime soon, so I'm gonna have to.
Hey, that man said one and done.
Yeah, otherwise, yeah, I'll be. I told her, I give her one if she want one, but otherwise, I'm good. I am good.
I don't know. It's they're definitely, not for everybody.
It's a challenge, and I love it. But my son, he's been begging me, Dad, I need somebody to play with.
How old is
your
your
son? Have a
son?
son or a daughter? He's 7. So I try to explain to him. I was like, Junior, if I had a child now, by the time they're old enough for you to play with them, you won't want to play with them.
Right. The age for playmates is at least 3 to 5 years different.
Yeah.
And then once you get over that, it's just like you want to do practice. You want to do start over practice.
Yeah.
I just knew that if I was going to have, after I had one, I was like, oh no, that's it.
Yeah.
I thought I wanted 13. No.
13.
Yeah, I wanted in my head, the vision was 13 boys. That was the vision. And then once the labor happened, why are you out here?
It's too long.
Hold on.
Wow. 13? Yo, yeah.
Okay, yes. I wanted 13 boys because I feel like the world is missing males that are really raised with a man and a woman to give them all aspects of life in a healthy way in order for them to be like adult men leaders, because I think that's where we're failing. We don't have any leaders. We have celebrities, we have entertainers, but we don't have any leaders. And I wanted to see what I would look like in male version being raised with a different perspective. That never happened.
13 different perspectives.
Yes, that's what I wanted. And so I had a girl, and I was like, okay, the Lord tried me once. Let me see what he cooking with the second time. And then it was another girl. And then I was like, okay, you did. Jokes done. We gonna close up shop. You tried me twice. Won't get a third, so I'm done. I refuse. I rebuke all of that.
Hey, I feel you. I feel you. I still want to go on trips. There's still some international traveling I'd like to do. And I want to be a little bit selfish for a while, but my biological clock is a lot longer than
my
than
dad made me
so.
at 60, so men are good.
Yeah.
Men are good to go. It's the women that's like, you know what?
Right. It's like, yo, I'm in no rush.
Y'all never in a rush. Y'all never in a rush. And it's women who's like, mid-30s, da-da-da-da. I'm just like, ugh. My goal wasn't like, I'm a woman, my biological clock. My baby clock was depending on my mom. So that's why I had my daughter when I had my daughters, because I had like a fear that my mom has 5 of us, all boys except me. I'm the last one and I'm the only girl. And I was like, I'd be damned if my mom has all my brothers, and they have kids, sometimes double the amount of kids, and their kids get to enjoy my mom as a grandma. And I'd be damned if I don't have kids and my kids don't. So the first one was for my mom. The second one was because the Lord thought he was funny. And so
here we go.
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
We gonna get into you and your fatherhood. This is episode 25, Black Fathers Matter, Cozy Womb Podcast. We have Brandon from OTR Podcast. What's up?
Hey. What's going on?
Man, all right. So, being that on your podcast there's 4 of you, which I like because that's 4 different personalities, 4 minds to pick. So, tell me your current age.
My current age? I'm 39.
39? How old do you feel?
I think Mike said the same thing. It depends on the day. I never feel older than 39 though, I'll tell you that.
Older than 39?
No, I never feel older than 39. Never.
Okay,
Never.
Good.
I'm somewhere between 29 and 39.
Okay, so we good. Are we taking care of the health?
I could do a better job of that, but I'm not terrible.
All
I'm
right.
not terrible.
Honest moments.
I drink a lot of water.
Yeah, that water intake is very important for us.
Oh yeah.
Where were you born?
I was born in Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Come on, Texas man.
Yeah.
I just talked to a Texas dad last night.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have 1 kid?
I have 1 son. He's 7.
And he's a junior.
Soon to be 8. Yeah, he'll be 8 in August.
Okay. Is his personality identical to yours?
I see similarities. You know, based on what my parents tell me, he's pretty much a mini me.
Oh man.
I think he probably had a little bit more energy than I did.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I could definitely see the similarities in our personalities.
Okay. And for you, I'm gonna start you off with finishing my thought. Dad life is everything and then some because blank.
Dad life is everything and then some. Because I mean, you literally get to see a piece of you, like from creation to, you know, and just growing throughout the years. You know, one of the things that brings me a lot of joy sometimes, I just sit and just watch my son. You know what I'm saying? I just watch him play. If he's interacting with somebody, I just watch him. And I don't know, it makes me happy, and it also makes me sad at the same time because, you know, he's growing so fast.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, the little dude who was my little man, he's still my little man, but you know, when they like 1, 2, 3 years old, like that little man, I'll never see that version of him again. So it's you know, it's bittersweet, but you know, that's what makes it, you know, everything.
Did you always want to be a dad?
Yeah. I always said, you know, even before I guess he was thought of, or you know, I always said, you know, my first son is gonna be a junior. I knew that. I didn't know how many kids I was gonna have. And there was at one point in my 20s where I figured, I might not even have kids, but I always knew my first son, he was gonna be a junior.
Okay. Growing up with your dad, what was that like, and what did you take away from that into your fatherhood now?
Growing up with my dad, first of all, I love my dad very much. He was the best. God chose him as my father for a reason. We had, I had my challenges, as far as, I think a lot of folks might have, and sometimes, when you're growing up, you don't get everything you want, or something don't happen a certain way you want it to, you kind of feel like, oh man, I don't like my parents or whatever. So I went through that phase with my dad, but definitely it's one of those, cliche, classic, stories where it's like, in the end, when I'm an adult now, I now see what, some of the things he was doing, how those things helped me out as an adult. My dad, he was fair, but he was strict at the same time. And a lot of times of course, as a teenager and stuff, I didn't like that all the time. There were times where I would try to as a teenager, avoid your parents or whatever. I went through that phase. But my dad, since day one, he's always been like, yo, you can do what you want, you put your mind to it, that type of thing. He was big on teaching me not just whatever it is I wanted to learn, but teaching me how to learn something. And I think those type of things stuck with me. Mm-hmm. And I try to instill those things in my son, but he every time I start talking to him, he'd be like, oh, here we go. He said that to me the other week, and it was like it caught me off guard. Yeah. He asked me a simple question like, Dad, I think he said, Dad, what do you think, what is done? And I was like, well, son, he was like, oh gosh, here we go, Dad. And it's like at 7 years old, he's doing this. So I'm like, I'm already turning to my pops. Yeah.
I got my 6-year-old a Google Home because I got sick of the questions. I'm just like, girl, when we were young, our parents would be like, go read a book, go look it up in the dictionary. These kids don't have to do that. So any question that she has that's like quick answer, and I'm doing something, or I'm listening to something, or I'm reading, I'm just like, go ask Google. Lifesaver. But at the same time, it's kind of like this morning we were in the car and we were just leaving the house, and I said out loud, I said, please God, just let us all have a good day. Let me get them to camp. Let me go to work and get back and be able to take us home and protect them. Anya goes, what you talking about protection? That's why we got you. You supposed to protect us. I said, I'm talking about God. When I'm not around, he need to protect me. He was like, well, you just need to make sure you hire the right people. I'm just like, girl, shut up. Like, with girls, you can't even have your prayer in peace because they're like always in the business. So I'm just like, oh my God, I can't even pray in peace. But yeah, they're just very like, what is this and what is that? Even my 3-year-old is like, how do you spell baby alive? And I'm just like, BABIALIVE. And she was like, okay. I said, what you want to know from here, right?
Right, just a random question.
Because I don't want to stall her out in her thinking, so I give into it. But it's really funny. Mm-hmm. It's super funny.
It is. They say the darndest things.
Listen, and they'll check you too.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Leave me alone.
Oh yeah.
It's another fill in the blank. Being a dad prepares you for blank.
I'll repeat that again. I had trouble hearing it.
Being a dad prepares you for blank.
Ooh. Being a dad prepares you for blank. Well, if you weren't already prepared for real life, being a dad definitely gets you ready for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There was kind of a shift in like mindset for me. My journey in fatherhood has definitely prepared me for some tough times. Like because it wasn't always easy for me. His mother and I went through our battles, and during that time, things were really tough for me. Like mentally, emotionally, physically. It was draining. It was literally draining, the life out of me. And I guess at some point, it's just like, in order for me to get better, I have to become stronger mentally. I have to be able to focus. I have to be able to still do the things that I need to do, as a father. If I'm going to, argue with his mom and we're going to go to court, and we're going to, I got to get things together to be able, to take care of him. So it was a rough start, but because it was that rough, it was probably the hardest thing that I've ever been through. Because it was all kind of sudden, and being away from him, in the early parts of his life was really eating at me. But after going through all of that, it's like, if I can make it through that, I really don't know what else could like make me, feel that low. I've been down and out. I've been, thousands of dollars in debt. Whatever you want to call it, no low self-esteem, all of that. And it was like, at some point, you just gotta say, hey, it's enough, and you just start building yourself back up from that point. So I would say fatherhood, in that sense, I think it's prepared me for some of the like career changes I'm going through, some of the challenges I've come across after all of that. I have a completely different mindset. I don't think of things anymore of like, damn, this really got me. Now I'm thinking, all right, how am I going to get myself out of this? How can we avoid it next time? So that's what fatherhood's kind of been like for me.
That's good, because you took the I'ma see it through method instead of what some dads take is like, I'm gonna take a back seat to this situation because I don't want to deal with it. Two questions on that. What made you push through all of that in order to still have that relationship with your son? And where are you and his mom at now, as far as like on a understanding, balanced, cordial, respectful level?
What got me through? And I'm not like a super religious. I'm not in a super religious phase in my life right now. Although I have been at times, but I know God got me through that, and just determination. Like it was, I really looked forward to being a father, especially once he was here. I mean, even while his mother was pregnant, I was like, no, you can't eat fast food. You got to eat, healthy. You got to do this. You got to do that. I'm at all the doctor's appointments. Look, I almost got killed one time doing that. She wanted some fast food. I went, and I think she wanted some McDonald's. She didn't eat it often, but I guess she had a craving for it.
Yeah.
I think she wanted like two hamburgers and some fries or something like that. I caught myself going over there and getting like the oatmeal they had.
No.
Oh, I thought she was gonna kill me that night. That was my bad, but that was a lesson learned. But but no, I just what got me through is, you know, I just wanted that relationship with my son. And to be honest with you, when I was going through it, that was like my biggest fear was him growing up and not recognizing me as his dad. You know, him calling somebody else dad. So that ate at me. But you know, he's my son. So I was all in on it, and you know, I didn't want him to grow up, you know, and his you know, his first example of what a man is for me is to like give up on him. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's what pushed me through. I mean, I it was just like a natural, to me, it was like a natural thing. You know, I wanted to be with him. I wanted to be in his life. So I guess that's the best way I can explain it. And then like his mother and I, we're cordial. We're cordial. We're definitely cordial. We those first few years were really rough, and I think it wore on both of us. But I think we both just got to a point where we were both kind of just, you know, tired of the back and forth, and you know, the challenges of co-parenting. One of them is, you know, you don't have that other parent to lean onto at all times, you know, in the house. Now we're living in two separate homes.
Yes.
So, you know, I mean, she's done a great job. I don't know if she would admit to it or not, but I'm pretty sure any woman that's raised a child who lives, you know, by themselves, it's a challenge. So I think that might have worn her. I mean, just to be honest, I mean, I don't know. I haven't had this conversation with her. But as far as us being able to communicate, you know, we do that. We don't argue in front of them. Even, you know, there'll be some times where she might be irritated at me, or I might be irritated at her. But when he's around, we don't argue. We might go to, you know, phone call or text or email afterwards. And, you know, if it's a discrepancy, it usually don't go no more than a conversation. We don't let it linger. So.
Well, I commend you because for me, it took 6 years with one of their dads for us to be able to maintain volume and just like be within the conversation. But I think what mellowed both of us out is the fact that it was about him having a relationship with Anya and about where I thought he should be will never be what I think. It's going to be what he puts that work into. And I think as a mom, my job is to allow that space and give my feedback when asked, but not have this idea of what he should be because I think he should be this. And it's that ego and that understanding to be like, you know what? I think especially fathers who weren't raised by biological fathers and have their own issues that they need to deal with, but they're not ready for, you have to give them the space to explore what father they want to be. Because just becoming a father and having a baby sometimes is not going to do it. I think even moms might have babies, carry babies, raise babies, but still don't mother. And you know, for a dad to not even have that connection until they actually see a child, it's only right that they have that space. So whatever time it takes, cool. As long as, you know, everybody gets to a point where I want you to be good in life so you could be a good father because that's important for a child. And I want you to be good in life so you could be a good mother because that's important for the child. You know, like, that's it. You know, even if you don't have like X amount of money to give, kids don't care about that. Is my dad here? Can I see my dad? Can I talk to my dad? Can I look at my dad? That's it. So that's good that y'all got to this point. It's hard. there was a time where her dad was always automatically blocked. Oh, you got a new number? Block. The only way I could mentally like communicate with him was by email. Because I just felt like I can't talk to you about a child that's growing nonstop without feeling like I have to teach you and then talk to you. And that, while raising a child, while being a mom, while working and doing more than the other parent, is frustrating. So I was like, I can't talk to you on the phone. You're gonna have to email me.
Yeah.
But now we've got to a point of FaceTime and calling, and her past birthday, her 6th birthday, was the first birthday he was ever at. And I allow myself to step back and let that happen. But I think it's about having the same focus and let that focus be the kid. So that's good.
Yeah.
How does your son show you appreciation?
He gives me hugs and kisses.
Right?
He does. I'm one of those dads. I do kiss my son, not on the lips, obviously, but I do kiss my son.
Yeah.
On the forehead. He'll do the same thing to me, like just randomly. He'll come up to me and he's like, "Dad," and I'll be like, "What?" And he'll just give me a hug, kiss me on the cheek, and say, "Thank you, Dad."
Was that something you and your father shared, or is that something you just chose to be like, when I have a son or a daughter, I'm going to be more affectionate?
That's a really good question, because to be honest with you, I just had this conversation with my son the other day. I was like, it's funny, I give him a hug and kiss. I was like, it's funny because Poppy or Granddad, Poppy, he didn't hug and kiss me. I mean, I knew my dad loved me, but I think he was just brought up in that old school way. Now, if I went up to my pops and just gave him a hug, he would hug me. He would be like, "Get over it." He wouldn't, it wouldn't be like that. But it just, I don't know. It's weird. Like, my family, we spent a lot of time together and we support each other, but we just didn't show affection that way. And me showing affection to my son like that wasn't even, something that was planned. It wasn't, because I didn't get it, I'm gonna give it to you. It just happened naturally that he came out the womb, I just wanted to hug him and kiss him. And I just never stopped.
Was your mom affectionate like that to you?
Not really. I mean, we would hug. Like when I greet my parents, even to this day, I hug my mother. Maybe every now and again she'll give me a kiss on the cheek, or I'll give her a kiss on the cheek. But it doesn't happen all the time. And then my dad, I give him daps and I hug him. That's it. and that's just kind of like,
it's weird.
That's just kind of like the way it's always been.
I like the fact that it evolved to you.
It is.
I like that it initiated and you go ahead and do it with your son. For me, same thing. My dad wasn't, you know what, let me hug you or let me kiss you. It was always like, I would go to him. My mom, very loving, loves kids, like the ultimate mom, the ultimate grandma, but it's kind of like that type of affection skipped a generation, because she does it to all of her 11 grandkids. And I'm just like, well, who is this? And like, even, I almost talk to my mom every day, and we hang up and be like, okay, later. It's not, I love you. I took the girls down to see her two summers ago for her to like keep them for like 2 months in Florida, and the whole time I'm just like, oh my God, I miss her so much, because she used to live with me for like 3 years, and she moved to Florida, and I was like, when I see her, I'm gonna pick her up and I'm gonna hug her, because she's like 4'11". I got in the kitchen, I saw her, and it was like all of that kind of like it faded. And I don't know why it faded. Like I didn't hug her. It was more so like, hey, what's up? And I'm just like, what is the issue? Like, what is the stalling of this? And it's because that wasn't shown growing up. That's not something we do. My brothers don't do it. One of my brothers, his thing now, and I don't know if it's because he has all daughters and he's married, but before we get off the phone, or if I text him, he'll tell me that he loves me, and I'm just like, okay, this is something new. And then I'll do it back, but like that's not initiated. It's not initiated, and I don't know if it's like a West Indian thing, because my family's primarily Jamaican, and then through marriage and kids, we have like Asian, we have Trinidad, we have Puerto Rican, we have Dominican, and it's kind of like, well, since everybody's here, so it's not like you can't. Right. It's about, do you want to do it? Do you want to start this new thing? So I'm all for you initiating that. That's good. It'll be another Black man in life that's not afraid to show affection.
No, and to be honest with you, like I'm one of those that teaches. I'll talk to my son. Hey, if he's feeling sad about something, son, it's okay to cry. It's sometimes things make you want to cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel angry. So it's okay to feel the emotions that you feel. Just, you just got to learn how to deal with them, even if you feel like, I talked to him about like feeling hate or dislike for somebody, even if you feel that, you've got to understand, what is it that makes you, feel that way. Just kind of, either talk to that person about it, or you got to deal with it, yourself somehow, but, just letting things linger or not being able to show emotion. If you want to come up and give me a hug, it's okay to feel all that. It's okay to process all that. So
that's good. I like that. What's your version of being an involved father? Like, what is that for your definition of it?
An involved father. In this day and age, it's there's a saying, it's not the amount of time you spend, it's the quality of the time. I think it's a little, it's both really. Quality time, yeah, but I don't know, for me, I like to be around my son, being involved includes, being involved in what they're doing in every aspect of their life, really. What are they doing in school? I could probably, I'll be honest, I could probably help out with his homework a little bit more, but I don't think he likes it when I do that. Because I'll sit there and we ain't leaving until you finish all this work. You didn't finish this work during the week? Yeah. Hey, and now it's like, oh yeah, I did my homework then. Okay, yeah, sure. But being involved in extracurricular activities, being there to answer their questions, being there just to spend time, play with them, chill with them. It involves all of that. I'm a movie buff. I know some people say, just watching shows with your kids ain't spending. But I do that too. I incorporate all of that. So just being there and being in tune with what's going on with your child. Not just not just showing up, but being there and being in tune. So that's what I would say. That's what being involved father is about.
Okay. How do you teach your son how to respect authority but still understand his rights in the situation when he's not around you?
When you asked that question, what immediately came to my head is my conversation with him about police, to be honest with you. Explaining to him, we need police, respect the police, but not all police are good. If somebody's, I think my son has a pretty decent moral compass, or to the point where he can understand if somebody's asking him to do something that he really should not be doing. So I just tell him in those instances, hey, get to your nearest adult. You don't jump in the, you don't do, if somebody's asking you to do something uncomfortable that is not right or whatever, or you feel like you're being unfairly treated or whatever, hey, let me know. If you let another adult know and they don't want to do nothing about it, then you come to me, because hey, I in school, he has teachers sometimes that will, last year we had a tough time with the teacher. She would always mark them up. They had this little act that every time the kid acts up, they put a little mark in the act, and you get it. The child won't sit down, the child won't be quiet. So it's like a child's like, hey, you have to respect your teacher. But at the same time, I thought his teacher was picking on him a little bit. So, but I told him, respect the teacher, do what she asks you to do. If you feel frustrated, don't worry about it. Come home, talk to me about it. We'll get it straightened out. So at this point, I don't want him to do anything, you don't have to protest or cause a scene in class. Just come get Dad. We'll handle it. We'll get to the bottom of it. But, always respect like your teachers and stuff like that. So, that's a long-winded answer, but.
But that's what I wanted. I think now, the past, the future, for a little bit, I don't know how long, hopefully not too long, is going to be for Black kids, brown kids they assume to be Black, is going to be a hard time. But I think what parents have to teach Black children is to do whatever you need to do to be able to come back to me so I can help you.
Right.
And sometimes that couldn't be you being disrespected. That can be you being treated unfairly. But if you can't come back to me to explain it to me, I can't help you. If you're going to react in the moment and do something that may cost you your life, I can't help you. And it's like, how do you stress that mindset to be like, you know what? Don't let anyone disrespect you. Stand up for yourself. And then when they face authority that's supposed to respect them, be respectful, and they mistreat them, it's kind of like, okay, now what my mom or my dad told me doesn't make sense. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen to boys, but for my girls now, it's kind of like, how do I teach them to respect police, respect teachers, respect other adults, when you can't even trust teachers and you can't trust police? And it's like, it's all about teaching your kid how to read a room or be aware of their surroundings. And if I always like put my kids on point, be like, what do you do if we're in the store and you get lost and you don't see me? Who do you go to? And it's kind of like, even my 3-year-old, like, you go to a person that has a name tag that looks like they work at the store, or you go to the front and you tell them my first and last name, and you tell them my phone number, you tell them that you lost, and you don't leave the store. And it's kind of like, are people having these discussions with their kids? Probably not, but that can happen. You know, if we're in a park, you know, what do you do if you don't see me or somebody tries to grab you? What do you do? And all of those discussions I have with them, because I'm always thinking like, what if? You know, what if I get caught slipping? What if somebody does something to me? Because people are always watching you. People are always spying on your children. And they look like regular, everyday people. And it's kind of like, there's so much teaching that you have to put into your children. And it could be like school, it could be religion, it can be family, friends, you know, what is a friend, all of that. And I don't know, I just feel like for dads teaching their sons, I don't know what you say, but you know, as you learn, I hope that you teach your son more and more about keeping his head on a swivel, because I mean, you as a grown man, you can't even go outside and be comfortable. So I can only imagine how it is for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I just tell him there's good and bad people out there. We have that conversation often, you know. You know, some people are friendly, some people are not. Some people have you know, your you know, good intentions, and some people don't. It doesn't matter. They could be police, they could be teachers, they could be anybody. So yeah.
My next question for you is, what did your father teach you that you in turn teach your son when it comes to respecting women, or how girls are supposed to be respected or talked to or treated? Maybe he's not near that. Maybe he's not there yet. Maybe he still feels like girls are nasty or yucky.
Yeah, you know, I ask him from time to time, hey, you like girls? And he's like, no. But like, he listens to like these teeny bop songs, and you know, where it's the dude talking about, girl, you know, you should do, you know, you know, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, he's singing songs about, you know, guys singing to girls. Yeah. But you know, he said, you know, he's like, nah, yeah, I can't have a girlfriend. And I think his mom said he can't have a girlfriend until he's like 18 or something like that. You know, like,
that would be why.
The time will come.
Right.
The time will come. But no, but I have told him, like, you know, being courteous, really, to anybody, you know, treat anybody with respect. You know, as far as like opening doors, he's with me and my lady all the time, you know, so he might see me open the door for her to the car, or when we walk in somewhere, or just, you know, the general way that, you know, just in the general sense that I treat her. I think the best thing is just to set the example. There was a saying I heard, I don't know where I heard it from, but it was like, kids rarely do what you tell them to do, but they always end up doing what you do. So it never fails. Like, you got to set that example. They might not listen to you, but if they see you treat women a certain way, chances are they're gonna grow up treating women the same exact way.
I agree. What do you teach your son when it comes to failure or feeling like
No, I'm one of those. Hey, a failure is just you just found one more way not to do it. You know, it's part of the learning process. It's part of the learning process. You going, you know, it's more so like a test, especially if you first doing something. He gets so frustrated sometimes, no matter what it is, whether it's, you know, schoolwork, it could be a game. If he don't have immediate success at it, he's ready to drop it, and that's kind of like the natural reaction. And in most cases, you know, I'm trying to tell him, no, you can't give up. He's like, forget it. But you know, I keep drilling that into him, like, hey, keep at it. You know, it's all right. You know, think of your favorite whatever. They didn't just get there the first day they picked up a whatever, a ball or whatever it is, a book, whatever. You know, they had to practice their reading, they had to practice their ball playing, their running, their jump, whatever it is you want to do. So yeah, failure, I try to teach them not to be afraid of it because I have been afraid of it, and I know how crippling it can be to be afraid of failure.
What are 3 things that you feel fathers can use as tools to be better at fathering and raising girls or boys today?
Three tools.
Tools or resources?
Google.
Yes.
Definitely Google. Look, Google has given me a lot of good ideas, especially during this quarantine. Mm-hmm. I just did a search the other day, things to do with kids like in the house, because he has everything, but somehow he just gets bored still. So keeping them active. Well, Google just in general. I would then say your family, really. Hopefully you get along with your family. I mean, to use them as a resource of information, experience. Anybody who has gone through what you've gone through. I know coming up as a co-parent, hearing stories from, getting advice from my friends, or maybe, there's been times I've been on taking my son out and we run into another father with his child, or his son or his daughter, and our kids start playing, and then me and him get to rapping and, just sharing, resources and stories. That helped a lot. And then the third one, books. Books on parenting. Whatever it is I try to do, I look for a book. I look for a book, get some ideas, get some more insight into whatever it is. And they got books on everything. So yeah, I would say Google, books, and just, friends, family, and other people who have gone, through the same things you had.
I agree. I like reading and searching information. What about your son helped you or may have made you a better human being by being his father?
Well, and we talked about this earlier, I have become much more affectionate. Mm-hmm. And I can tell that spilled over into my relationships too, into my romantic relationships, especially with my lady now. Mm-hmm. She's getting the byproduct, because I was playing earlier, growing up, I didn't hug, kiss, I love you, Dad, I love you, Mom. We said it, but every now and then. It was like once I had him, it was like I became soft as shit after that. It's just I noticed that difference in me, like because not to sound too corny or anything like that. I don't really care anyway, but like it was like before my son, I don't think I ever loved anybody or anything like that.
You will never. No, you have to have your own.
Completely.
Yeah.
It's like completely vulnerable. It's like complete and utter vulnerability. My son could tell me he hated me, and I would still love him to death. Whereas, I've never loved anything or anybody like that before. I'm one of those people that will go down for their kid is just this terrible person. They tearing up the the city, the neighborhood, whatever, and I'll be right there behind him, like I love my child. I can't give him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't give him up. So, but that spilled over into my other relationships. I mean, not just my romantic relationships, but any other relationship. Like, I just felt like I was more empathetic, sympathetic about things. I was more emotionally in tune with things. And yeah.
That's good. I think kids make us look at ourselves, and I think the parents that don't show up for their kids are not ready to take a look at like what they need to improve or what they need to fix. And unfortunately, it's kind of like they miss out because, like you said, your girl is getting like the revamped layer of who you've been, but she couldn't get that unless you had your son and you peel back that layer and just allowed yourself to be exposed. And a lot of the times that's what being a parent is not even like being ashamed or embarrassed that this is how you show someone that is a piece of you, life and what you have to give, because it's this recycle effect that if you don't pour into your kids, when you then become the child in your old age, it's kind of like, are they going to take care of you?
You got to take care of me at some point.
Right, and it's kind of like I feel sorry for the parents that don't show up, and then they end up in the house that's lonely, quiet. And then the way that we are now, when we get old, we're not gonna have no Social Security. So it's really like, what are you doing now to make sure that the generations under you have a choice not to work, or let alone are established to the point where they can take care of themselves, take care of their family, and also take care of you until you leave this earth. And there is no time to stall. So that grind that you had before you had a kid is there, but now it's like on 10. And if it's not on 10, you need to figure out why it's not on 10, because I just feel like it's beyond retirement for me. It's a different type of pressure to have one kid and then have two kids, and you want to always make sure that the other parent is in good standing to where they can support themselves to be able to then be able to support the child that you share. And that's why I don't understand where the hate and the animosity comes from when two people share the same child. It's kind of like, do you not want your child to be, set up in the right way? And why not? So I just hope it gets better for dads. And for you, is there any conversation that you're like, I hope he doesn't have this problem, or I hope he doesn't have this situation and ask me?
Is there anything I hope he doesn't ask me?
Yeah. And think about the fact that we have like FaceTime now. We have Instagram. We have Facebook Live. What are they going to have by the time they're teenagers? And are we ready to be like, okay, what do I do with this situation? And how do you train for that? It's kind of like, how do you train for the unknown?
To be honest with you, I don't know if there's anything that I don't want him, to come to ask me.
Yeah.
If it's I can't think of anything that I wouldn't want him to ask me about. But I mean, there are some things where it'd be like, well, I don't know, son. I don't know if I could. I try to help you out, but I don't know about that. I don't know. You know, anything he's going to, I hope that he feels comfortable enough to at least, you know, let me know if he's having trouble with it. If he doesn't, then I would probably feel some type of way about that. I'm probably like, well, why didn't you just ask me?
Yeah. All right. Are you up on the current lingo in text, or does he have a cell phone?
Oh, I mean, I know the basic shit. There's some stuff I don't know. Like sometimes scrolling through my timelines, I'll run across an acronym. I'm like, wait, what? And I have to. Nah.
These kids are getting super crafty, and for me, I'm trying to push back the need for the cell phone. But Anya's 6, and she's been asking me for a cell phone since she's been like 5. I'm just like, girl, no.
Oh.
So I don't know if he's interested in having a cell phone or anything like that.
Well, I'll tell you this. Okay, so now that you put it like that, there are a couple of things I hope he doesn't ask me about. I hope he doesn't ask me about cell phones. I hope he doesn't ask me about Jordans. I hope he for one reason, you know, I wasn't a big sneakerhead coming up. Mm-hmm. And the second reason is, you know, they're just too damn expensive.
Right.
You know, I make decent money. I don't even want to buy him that. But I hope he doesn't ask me about or ask me any more about getting a dog. I don't want no pets. But like stuff like that. But as far as cell phone is concerned, I'm not really worried about that right now, because the only thing he'll use my phone for is to listen to Spotify, watch YouTube, or, you know, play a game on it or something. You know, he don't really get into. He'll text me, like he'll message me online, like in Google Hangouts and stuff like that. But outside of that, I don't think there's too much to worry about that yet.
Is there any like music artists that both of you share interest in currently, or not yet?
Oh yeah. Quite a few. It's all because of what I play for. I'm a big Anderson .Paak fan. So I listen to Anderson .Paak like a lot in the car.
His last album was superb.
Oh, listen. Listen, that Free Nationals, that's my wave. I know we vibed a lot with I played Leon Bridges for him, because you know, at the time I'm trying to look for something that's, you know, a little musically inclined and not a whole bunch of vulgar language. And well, Anderson .Paak don't always fit into that, but he's musically dope. But like Leon Bridges, he was liking songs on the album that I was like, okay, skip. He was like, no, Dad, tap that back. I'm like, okay. Who else did we vibe out to? Childish Gambino. We vibed out to that when he came out with his album a couple of years ago. It was like a funkadelic type joint. It had this song on there with zombies. He likes cartoons about shit. So that type of way. We'll vibe out on songs like that.
That's good. That's good, because I think when you guys connect on music, it kind of like opens a space where you guys can have more of a discussion on whatever's like on your mind, or even go to concerts together, teach them how to socialize. Because I think all the technology today is not helping kids learn how to be social with people, or look people in the face when they talk to them. You know, how to be in a room of people in corporate, how to be in a room with your friend. how to introduce yourself. So all of that is super important. That's why I asked that question. So you're good.
I'll be honest with you. I'm glad you said that, because to be honest with you, that's like, to me, that's one of the most important skills somebody can have. Mm-hmm. And his teacher actually looked at me kind of crazy when I said this to her. Mm-hmm. Because he is very, very social. To a point where we have to pull back on the reins. But yeah. I told him, I always want you to be comfortable being able to speak to anybody. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to talk, to introduce yourself. He make new friends all the time, and especially with adults. An adult is talking to you, look them in the face.
Right.
Things like that. So, yeah, I'm glad you said that. Glad you definitely pushed that.
So my last question for you, sir.
Okay.
Could you give a piece of advice that you wish someone gave you when starting out as a father?
It's cheaper to keep us. No, I'm joking.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not.
Oh man. No, I take that back. Anything that I wish they would have told me. I don't know yet. I don't think I've crossed a moment like that yet, outside of battling with his mom. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the process. The good and bad times. My son, I love him to death. He's the best thing I got, and he can work my nerve. He can work it real good, but just every experience is just, I don't know. I feel like I'm one of those people where I can listen to somebody's advice, seriously listen to it, but then I'm gonna go try and do what I want to do anyway. So if somebody gave me some advice and I think I'm probably gonna do it this way, mm-hmm. then I'll do that. But yeah, I can't think of anything. I just enjoy everything about it. I'm still learning. I think I can be a better dad than I am. I think I'm a great dad, but I think I could be better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think all dads who really are involved always feel like they can be better, because you're constantly watching or listening or hearing dads that's doing something you're not doing, and you're wondering, is your kid missing out on this? But generation after generation, it's always going to be, you poured into your kid what you wanted as a kid with your dad, and then who knows what your kid needs from you that they're not saying, that they're in their minds, I'm gonna make sure I do this with my kid. And it's kind of that's why you can't shoot for perfection, because there's always going to be something that your child is going to critique about you that just wasn't enough. And I think what's going to help with that is when both of you and your child have an honest discussion, and everybody, I think, deserves an evaluation. You deserve an evaluation as a father. His mom deserves an evaluation as a mother, and he deserves an evaluation, just like jobs do. So we can all, see if you're on the right track. Do you feel this from me? Mm-hmm. Is there something else I can do for you? Is there something else that you feel like I'm not doing? Don't worry, I'm not going to choke you across the table. This is a safe space. Like that. And that's something I want to do with my girls, because I know growing up with my mom primarily, I felt like there was a legal guardian in the house, but I never felt like there was a parent there to protect me in the house. And what that did as a girl, now as a woman, it made me more on the defense of everybody. And it takes a lot for people to convince me or show me that they're good people. So, it's all in having those honest discussions and making sure that your child respects you and doesn't fear you. That's why they don't come to you. But I think you're on the right track, and I just want to thank you for, peeling back that layer and allowing yourself to be different about your approach and being intentional with your son, because that's what's going to make him an all-around good person, period. You're doing good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you
for doing this series.
Of course. I'm going to have to do an episode about all of you guys, because it's been really good. It's been really good. Yeah. Like, even fathers that really didn't have a father that was hands-on, they flipped it, and even with their kids, you would never tell that their father wasn't like the greatest. But can you tell the people where to reach you, where to find you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, OTR. On Twitter, I'm OTR Brandon. Instagram, I'm OTR_Brandon. You can also, I'm on Facebook. You can also hit up just the OTR pod. Just type in OTR in the search on any of the social media platforms you are. One of us gonna come up. Me, Mike, Quan, Alex, somebody gonna come up.
Right.
And we're on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, any typical place you get your podcast, Off the Record podcast, we're there.
Mm-hmm. Good topics. They give good topics. And you got merch. And they just out here making sure they hit all corners of what needs to be talked about. And I appreciate it. I'm always for promoting good shows and good topics. So thank you for doing that.
No, again, thank you. You definitely got a fan over here. For sure.
Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you guys for supporting Cozy Womb Podcast. My name is Shan. When you listen, you support. And I just want you guys to know that I am thankful and I'm grateful. And when you listen, you support myself, you support my daughters. When you buy anything from Cozy Womb Shop, you support. And I appreciate it. You could have picked any podcast and you're here. Please visit us on Cozy Womb on Facebook, Cozy Womb Pod on IG, Cozy Womb Pod on Twitter. I would love to hear from you. And I hope you guys have another teachable day, another productive day. And you just keep things in motion. I know things feel very weird right now with this quarantine going on, but we can do it. Peace. Bye.
Bye.